Hello everyone. In the previous session, we have seen how to configure static IP address for Ubuntu operating system running on Oracle VirtualBox. Now, let us try to SSH into the Docker host machine by using that static IP address. From my base system, on the command prompt, we need to run the command SSH, provide the username. In my case, it is test user, followed by IP address. In this scenario, it is 192.168.0.200, which I have configured in the Docker host machine. We have to provide the password of the test user. Test123, what I have configured. With this, we have successfully logged into our Docker host machine. Now, let us try to understand how to launch a container by using the images. Technically, in the Docker host machine, if you want to launch a container to run an application or any other program or any other software, we have to download an image. And then we have to launch a container on the Docker host machine. Do we have any images on the system right now? If you want to verify it, run the command docker image ls. As of now, in the Docker host machine, I don't have any images. Then how I need to pull the image? How my Docker will communicate to the container registry? By default, this Docker engine will try to communicate Docker Hub, which is a container registry from Docker. Let me try to pull one image. For that, run the command docker image pull and the image name. Let us say, for example, I want to pull an image Nginx and not specifying any tag. Later you will understand what is meant by tag. For now, if I don't pass anything, by default it will add as latest. Let me run the command. You can see, as I told you, it is using a default tag called latest. And it is trying to pull the image from library, which is a Docker Hub account. And it is searching for a repository called Nginx with the tag latest. You can call registry. What does it mean? A registry is a centralized location where we can store our images. Image can be called as repository. Under the repository, we will have different tags. Latest 24.04, 25.04 or 20.04, or let us say 1.5.6. It depends upon the image what we are trying to use. We can see now the image was pulled successfully on the Docker host machine with this command. But how will you verify? We need to run the same command docker image ls to list all the images on the Docker host machine. Repository name, tag, image ID, create a timestamp, and you can see size. The image size will be too less because it will have only the packages, or you can say libraries and binaries what are necessary to run your operating system and application. That's the reason why the sizes of the images will be too less when you compare with ISO. With this image, we can launch n number of containers. There is no limit. It all depends upon the resource capacity what you have on the Docker host machine. But we can launch n number of containers by using this image. For example, I want to launch a basic container from Nginx image. How to do that? Here we have two approaches. Do you want to create a container and start the container? Then we have one approach. No, I just want to create a container, but I don't want to start the container. We have a different approach. First, let me try to show you how to create a container and how to start the container. For that, we need to run the command docker container. Under this, we have to use sub commands called run and the option -d. -d can also be written as -f detach. What does it mean? I want to create a container which is nothing but a process ID on the Docker host machine. That process ID, I want to throw it in the background in a running status. For that we have to give -d, detach mode. And then let me specify the name of a container. If you don't specify anything, Docker engine will try to assign a random name. But instead of that, I want to assign a proper static name. I will give here Nginx demo. Finally, we can provide by using which image you want to launch this container. It is Nginx. No need to specify the tag. Why? Because by default it will pick latest. Now these are the minimal parameters that we have to pass while launching a container. Even -f name is not mandate. I have given that because I want to give a proper name to the container which I'm trying to launch. But we can see the task was successful. You can see the output has been generated with some alphanumeric. Nothing but container ID it is. If you want to see the status of the container, we need to run the command docker container ps process. The meaning of ps is nothing but process. Now we can see the list of data, container ID, image, command, create a timestamp, up status, port number, and then name of the container. With this, we have successfully launched a container. Now, I want to delete a container. Yes, we can do it. But the recommended method is first you have to stop the container and then we need to remove the container. What happens if the container is in running status? Let's give a try. Now the container is in running status, but I'm trying to delete a container without stopping it. Let's execute a command docker container rm is a sub command what we have to use to remove the container. Either we can give container ID or we can give a name. Let me provide here name of the container. Nginx demo. What happened? It's clearly saying you that the container is in running status. First, it is asking us to stop the container or else forcefully in the sense what? We can give an option called -f so that it will remove forcefully. But this is not a recommended approach. First, we need to stop the container. The action was docker container stop and the container name. Is the container has been stopped or not? I want to verify it. What is the command? Docker container ps. This command will show you by default only running containers. But right now the container has been stopped. If you want to pull all the containers of different status, we have to use -a all. We can see the container has been stopped. How I can confirm that? You can see the word as exited. But it got exited not because of a failure. It has been successfully stopped. Because we can see the exit code as 0, not 1 or any other number. Apart from 0 is a failure. Because of that, your container might be stopped. But here, the container was not stopped because of a failure. It has been successfully stopped. This is one of the confirmation by looking at this output. After the container was stopped, now we can remove the container by re-executing this command. Now we can say it is successful. From this, we have successfully deleted the container what we have spinned up. For now, we need to understand that if I do any custom changes in that particular container, those will be lost. We cannot recover it. Why? Because you have deleted the container. You have not even stopped. You have removed the container from Docker host machine. That's all for this particular session. Thank you.